Now, commemorations is underway in New Zealand to mark 250 years since the arrival of Captain James Cook.
But his legacy has been questioned by many. Now the UK has for the first time expressed regret to two Maori tribes whose ancestors were killed by Cook's crew within hours of landing in New Zealand 250 years ago.
But the official statement stopped short of the full apology that some were hoping for.
Kia ora, ko Laura Clarke toko ingoa.
Was it an apology?
It was an expression of regret.
Your government wouldn't have gone as far as apology.
Not exactly a lot of feeling in the statement expression of regret, is there?
No, what is that exactly?
I'm not sure. It doesn't have. It's not very personal.
Te tautanga mai o kāpena kuki me tōna rahi. Ka tono hi atu ngā kai kawe taiha ki te wero. Ka whakaaro ake te pā ki hara, kai te hara mai kei ki te patu. Ana ka puhi-puhia ngā kau mātuan. Engari, karero atu a tauiwi I whakaaro ake, he patu tangata tērā. Hoi anō tāna he hara mai I te hao whenua.
Ruarau rua te kaumārima tau ki muri, ka tau mai a kāpene Cook.
E tahi o ngā kaumātu o tēnei o tātou rohe kei te whakahē. Kei te whakahē nā te mea I kōhuritia e tahi o mātou tīpuna. E tahi e ki ake ana me titiro whakamua tātou.
Weho mā te Pākehā e whakanui tōna rā, ka rea hau te Māori. E tino maua nei tēnei kaupapa.
Te tahi take anō ko te ingoa I tapahia e kāpene Cook, ara Poverty Bay.
E tari ki au ki te Māori kei au anō, taku ingoa mō tēnei kāinga.
Kua hatera, o te hā?
E hara ko Tūranga nui a kiwa, e hara I te mea, he pōhara taku kāinga.
Kei te paitonu kia hau te rā ingoa, engari mā tātou ke e raparapa ngā kōrero tika. Ne? Hara mai a kāpene kuki me ana hoia ki konei, ka reho atu he tangata whenua, he tātou Māori he kai. Ka ki te Pākehā he kore kai no tēnei kai.
Ngā mahi o mua e kore tāia te tīni, engari ko te pono te mea nui.
Now, it's been described as the most significant event in our nation's history, the arrival of Captain James Cook. Now, the government will spend $15 million marking the 250th anniversary. So how should we view Cook in 2019?
Historian Dayman Salmond is working with Te Hā, the trust which is organising the East Coast's commemorations of the landing.
A society that didn't commemorate a moment as important as that would be an odd society. I mean, it'd be a society that was kind of cultivating amnesia.
It's very disappointing that when people harp on about things in the past that they probably don't even really know what happened and let it go. Move on.
I'm thinking just everyone's just trying to, celebrate something that shouldn't be celebrated too soon.
I te mea ko te tuia 250 te mea nui kia mātou. Ko kia mātou, ai kia haere whakamua hoe nora he tīmatatanga tēnei. Nā te mea I tai mai the Honourable Laura Clarke, Jenny Shipley, the Prime Minister, the Governor General, I tai katoa mai rātou.
It's Tuesday morning, the day the Endeavour replica is due to arrive. And local iwi are holding a dawn karakia in remembrance of the 9 ancestors shot in cold blood.
Tēnei karakia te rānei, kia tau te marino, kia tau te rangi Māori ki runga kia rātau. Nā te mea I whati te whakapapa ki reira. Nā te tango ake I te ure tārewa o ngā iwi o Tūranga.
For many Indigenous communities, they would meet a similar fate as those killed at the hands of Cook and his crew over the duration of Cook's 3 voyages to the Pacific. That would include death by spread of pox, syphilis and other diseases.
Why did you offer an expression of regret for the killing of 9 Tūranga Nui a Kiwi Māori by the crew of the Endeavour for the Tuia 250 commemorations?
Well, I did that because last year in December, representatives of those iwi came to see me and said we would like to have this encounter, these tragic encounters acknowledged. We would like to have a process of reconciliation. And, you know, and certainly that pain then of those encounters has been passed on from generation to generation. And that's been compounded, I think, by the fact that that story hasn't been sufficiently heard and acknowledged. And so we want to be able to acknowledge that past so that we can build a better relationship going forward.
Was it an apology?
It was an expression of regret.
See, those are curious words, and that's what I'm hitting at here.
So, and I'm not too, and I've been asked this before, and I'm not too hung up about the exact terminology.
But someone must have been, because apology is a much simpler word and concept for most people than expression of regret. That is a phrase that has been written by a lawyer.
It's true, but you know, expression of regret was what we landed on, and that was something that we very much co-created.
So why that over apology?
That was just what worked. So, you know, when you're doing something like this, you've got lots of stakeholders involved, you know, on the iwi side, on our side, and we very much, once I got this expression of regret signed off by my government in the UK, we then worked very closely with the iwi to co-design it and work out how we did it in a way that achieved our objectives.
Your government wouldn't have gone as far as apology?
Well, my government agreed to, or my government is very supportive of me having done this expression of regret, and I have a personal priority to increase the UK's engagement and relationship with Te Ao Māori. What matters is the intent, what matters is the relationship going forward. I acknowledge the death of 9 of your ancestors, including Te Rākau, who were killed by the crew of the Endeavour. It is deeply sad that the first encounter happened in the way that it did, and to you, the descendants of those killed, I offer my every sympathy. For I understand that the pain does not diminish over time. So I would like today to acknowledge the pain and reach out to you in friendship and in the hope that in acknowledging the past, we can forge a future relationship together.
I think it's important for us as Rongowhakaata because it sets us, firstly acknowledges the death of the 9 tipuna, which really until today, that hasn't been expressed in a formal capacity by any representation of Crown or government. So that's the first thing. But it sets a platform for us to start moving towards a pathway that's truly a dual heritage. The expression of regret was said with a lot of empathy and was very sincere, and I was quite moved by it. And I thought that there'd be a lot of tipuna in that whare and surrounding us who would be quite impressed.
He mea whakahira tēnei, no te mea ko tēnei, te mea tuatahi no ngā iwi takita te huri noa ki te ao. Nā reira, miha.
My grandparents and my great-grandparents and my aunties and uncles would have been proud of what happened here today. We just move on and look to the future for our children, but teach our children the right stories.
As you know, we're going through this period of massive constitutional change in terms of our relationship with the EU, and the parliamentary arithmetic has been such that it's been really hard to reach consensus on exactly how you implement Brexit. I have to look at, well, what next in terms of the UK-New Zealand relationship? What next in terms of the UK in the Pacific? And there's a really exciting agenda there.
You said you want in the interests of Māoridom embedded in that particular free trade agreement. I mean, what does that mean?
Well, I think it's really important that you look and see what the interests are across the board, and I've got a particularly high priority on building the UK's relationship with Te Ao Māori, with Māoridom across New Zealand, across the board. So that's about trading links, cultural links, people-to-people links. We're taking a delegation, a cultural delegation across to the UK in November to increase iwi access to the various taonga held in UK cultural institutions. So that's a really exciting project.
So you're talking about taonga held in museums like that?
In the UK. So it's called He Whai Mā Tūranga. It's about in pursuit of knowledge, and it's really about enabling greater iwi access to those taonga.
So here we are in the British Museum as part of the British High Commissioner's delegation, the Whai Mā Tūranga, which is about reconnecting to the multiple British institutions that hold our taonga, that hold mātauranga of those early visits by Cook and his men. And so it's important that we are here to first and foremost acknowledge and mihi to them, but more importantly to build the relationship with those institutions so that we can glean that information, so we can build our Rongowhakaata story to tell ourselves first and foremost, but more importantly to our mokopuna coming through.
One of the interesting things that we've talked about over the last few days has been about the disbursement of a lot of our taonga, including artefacts collected by Cook, plants collected by Joseph Banks in 1769, and how when they came back to Europe they were dispersed through various collectors, various sponsors, various museum institutions. The fact that some of our earliest known artefact material is actually not in New Zealand. And for us as a carving tribe, one of several carving tribes in New Zealand, some of our best known examples of our style are actually located here in London and other museums throughout Europe and in the US. So one of the important things for us, it's a lot of detective work, and it's a lot of cross-referencing in terms of the original manuscripts to the oral traditions that we have, to the manuscripts that we have located in New Zealand. So it's very important, I believe, that we've come here to discover some of these primary or source materials. So I'm pleased to be here today with Rongowhakaata, tracking these pieces, and I'm hoping that they'll be returned to our possession.
People ask, well, why? Well, I think that it is in some cases about artistic reclamation. When you look at Te Hauki Tūranga, who carved Te Hauki Tūranga at the time, and it stands as an important exemplar, I suppose, as a taonga for the artistic traditions, flourishing traditions of whakauru and Tūranga Nui a Kiwa. And some of the taonga here, we believe, and we have strong grounds for that, but we need to do more research that some of the carvings held here could be the original, could be from Te Hauki Tūranga. So koere te hear here, like any tipuna whare. Tipuna whare is the embodiment of the whole tipuna, and it would be as part of the restoration of Te Hauki Tūranga, it would be great for if we can identify all the original parts so that we can actually bring them together to make them whole.
While they hold our taonga and have some records and their own analysis of where and who those taonga belong to, they recognise that actually we hold the missing piece. So there's a greater understanding to get the full value of what those taonga offer us all. It's a matter of collaborating our mātauranga with their particular science or historic, mainstream historic data, and actually then being able to have that full value of those taonga.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. I saw a band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me